Warning! The root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star. Direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, fun. Wayne Allyn Roots. Batar, my director, says, have fun. Well, we're going to have fun because I'm going to open up with positive stories. Not bad, right? When you got positive economic stories. People keep complaining about Trump. I've always said his main attribute is he knows money, right? U.S. private payrolls post their biggest gain since January of 2025. Trump is going to announce $700 million in actions to boost the U.S. coal industry so we don't have energy problems and your electric bill doesn't soar, and the Dow soars 900 points to an all-time high. Good economic news. I want to mention good Wayne Root news, and then I'll get to my commentary. Talkers magazine, which is the Bible of the talk industry, rated me number 30, or ranked me number 30 out of all the most influential radio hosts in the United States of America. 8th year in a row, I'm on the list of the Heavy 100 most influential hosts in America, and I was ranked ahead of several icons of the media, of conservative media, and of radio and TV. Bill O'Reilly, I'm ahead of Bill O'Reilly. I'm ahead of Armstrong and Getty. I'm ahead of Curtis Sliwa, the guy who ran for mayor of New York City, has a big show in New York. I'm ahead of Hugh Hewitt from Salem, Bill Cunningham from iHeart, Rita Cosby, a great friend of mine, Rob Carson of Newsmax, Joe Piscopo, one of the famous comedians and movie stars. His radio show, I'm ahead of it. Steve Gruber of Real America's Voice TV, I'm ahead of him. And Lee Elsey, who is my guest host so often on this show. Whenever I'm away, I use Lee Elsey. So number 30 in the top 100 for the 8th year in a row. And number 30 out of all the radio hosts in America. Keep in mind, I'm a TV host now. Really, radio's a tiny portion of my life. TV is 90% of what I do and probably 95% of my income. But yet, as little an influence as radio has in my life nowadays, I'm number 30 out of everyone in the United States, a nation of 330 million people, and I'm very proud of that. Here is my commentary based on something that happened on this show. Was that just yesterday? Was it yesterday she was on, or 2 days ago? Can't even remember anymore. So it's titled, President Trump is the greatest president of my lifetime, but his DOJ is weak, feckless, and cowardly. Wait till you hear what his assistant attorney general said on my podcast. Because I give out my personal email, wayneroot@gmail.com, on my 2 national TV shows, a nationally syndicated radio show, and national podcast, I get thousands of emails from patriots across this country. My finger is on the pulse of what average, everyday Americans think, like no one else in the conservative media. I also understand something about the American people that few politicians or media ever will. Just because someone isn't a billionaire or famous or have a degree from Harvard doesn't make them dumb, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't listen to them. To the contrary, the average, everyday, middle-class Americans who speak to me are actually smarter than the politicians, CEOs, and big-shot lawyers that I know. They certainly have more common sense. The number one thing almost every one of these average, everyday Americans says in their emails to me is, quote, where are the arrests? Why isn't President Trump arresting dirty, corrupt Democrats? Why are Democrat lawbreakers never charged with obvious, irrefutable violations of the law? Why are Democrats who commit treason and insurrection and who aid and abet illegal alien criminals walking free? Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. Then earlier this week, I had a top official from the DOJ as my guest on my national podcast, Warzone Live, the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit, the one you're watching right now or listening to right now. And I had the honor of interviewing Assistant Attorney General of the United States Department of Justice, Harmeet Dillon. And my fans' concerns are very valid. And they know I have the platform to get answers. I was very respectful to the Assistant Attorney General when I brought up L.A. Mayor Karen Bass. It was not a pre-planned question. It was an off-the-cuff remark, simply because the shocking story had just come out that morning and I just seen it before our interview. And I said, quote, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has publicly announced that she is heading an obstruction campaign against ICE and will not follow federal law when it comes to cooperating and turning over illegal aliens. Mayor Bass was very clear that she will obstruct immigration laws, ICE, and law enforcement. Why don't we indict and arrest her for treason or insurrection or aiding and abetting foreign criminals illegally on American soil? She is actively promoting insurrection against the U.S. federal government. That's what I said to Attorney General Harmeet Dillon, Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon. And I could see the Assistant AG tense up right away, and the answer I received from Dillon almost knocked me off my feet as she defended the L.A. mayor, calling Bass's remarks protected free speech. This is truly unbelievable, unacceptable, and pure cowardice. The Assistant AG of the Trump DOJ just waved the white flag like our DOJ represents France. Because it's not free speech, it's action. The action is LA's mayor giving the commands and providing cover for insurrection against the laws of our country. It's her saying publicly that federal law doesn't matter in California because she doesn't like it. It's inciting anarchy. If any elected official refuses to comply with federal law and encourages others to not comply with federal law, they are by definition a criminal committing insurrection against this country. They are Benedict Arnold. January 6th was a peaceful protest against a rigged and stolen election, turned into entrapment by Nancy Pelosi and the crooked FBI. This, however, is a real coup. This is a real insurrection. This is a communist color revolution, an attempted overthrow of the U.S. government under the command of Mayor Karen Bass and dozens of other radical Democrat mayors across this country. Mayor Bass is directing radicals to not comply with U.S. law if they don't like it. She is inciting them to riot against ICE, commit violence against ICE officers, and chase federal officers out of Los Angeles. A mayor or any elected official whose actions encourage breaking the law and incite violent riots and violence against law officers of the U.S. government should be immediately arrested. Set an example or this will never end. The Assistant AG looked angry that I asked about this topic, but I didn't care because the American people deserve answers. I never back down, never. So I pushed Assistant AG Dillon again for an answer as to why the LA mayor could not be charged for her criminal actions. And this time, her answer wasn't about protected speech. She changed her tune. She had an even more shocking excuse. The Assistant AG of the Trump DOJ claimed that cases in California are not prosecuted because, quote, in a blue state like California, we wouldn't win in court anyway. What? You ever see them in a movie? What? That's my answer. What? I was stunned with what I was hearing. Our DOJ no longer prosecutes cases in blue cities and blue states because we can't win? This is a dangerous message the Assistant Attorney General Dillon is sending. If I'm an illegal alien or a Democrat official in California, she just gave carte blanche for me to break the law and I won't be charged because Trump's DOJ waves the white flag when it comes to prosecuting in blue states like California. Really? That is a total loser mentality. Keep in mind, AG Dillon represents President Trump, who prides himself on always winning and always aiming for the unconditional surrender of our enemies. Remember that? Unconditional surrender of Iran. Is President Trump aware that his own top DOJ officials are saying that we, the Trump DOJ, unconditionally surrenders to blue cities and blue states? Laws are no longer enforced if a Democrat commits a crime in a blue city or a blue state. His DOJ just put up the white flag like France. This is why we're losing America, because Democrats fight and stick together and are willing to do anything to win, weaponizing government, spying on Trump, persecuting Trump, rigging juries and judges against Trump, using the IRS to destroy the lives of political opponents. And Republicans, on the other hand, are weak, feckless cowards who find excuses to always compromise, settle, back down, avoid battle, or wave the white flag of defeat. I love President Trump. I trust President Trump. I will always be loyal to President Trump. I will always fight for President Trump, but he is being blocked at every turn by Democrat traitors, insurrectionist politicians and judges, radical communist activists, the deep state, and sadly his own GOP senators and his own government officials. It's one big conspiracy. It's one giant gaslighting. It's the entire world against Trump. But the real problem, sadly, is our own team. Until President Trump's DOJ grows some balls and charges Democrat officials who obstruct justice with insurrection, this will never stop. It's sadly a free pass for Democrats to conduct violence, burn down cities, refuse to comply with federal law, and do whatever the hell they want in blue cities and states with no fear of accountability or retribution. My interview with President Trump's assistant AG answered your questions. It just wasn't the answer any of us wanted. But now you understand the obstacles we face. No one is fighting for us. There is no cavalry. Even President Trump's top officials make excuses for Democrats who break the law. As of right now, President Trump's DOJ is not the Department of Justice, it's the DOE, the Department of Excuses. The American people want justice. If we can't get it with the greatest president of my lifetime, then it sure appears that we will never get it. Harmeet Dillon, I didn't like her answers. I didn't like the interview. I didn't like her attitude. And I got to tell you, she's probably more conservative than 99% of the people at the DOJ, which is why it's now the DOE, the Department of Excuses. Good luck to America. RNC Chair Joe Gruters announces 130 lawsuits filed across 32 states to stop Democrats from stealing elections. He's the chairman of the Republican National Committee. He announced that Republicans have already launched 130 lawsuits across 32 states at blocking Democrats' efforts to cheat every single day in U.S. elections. That's his quote. The announcement comes as President Trump recently vowed to unleash a much larger election integrity army than the one Republicans used in 2024, signaling that the GOP is preparing for an all-out legal and ground game fight over ballot security, vote counting, and election procedures. Because, of course, you know the famous saying from Stalin, right? It's not who wins the election, it's who counts the votes that matters, right? And that's the Democrats' philosophy. They're just thieves. Trump wants to make America the energy capital of the world, make America energy independent again. Here is a project that could help accomplish that, or certainly go a long way to helping accomplish it. I'm so proud to introduce you to a real America hero of the energy industry, Mark Bruner, founder and CEO of Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. Mark is a second-generation oil and gas legend whose companies have created more than $15 billion in shareholder value, including Ultra Petroleum. But Lost Soldier could be bigger than Ultra Petroleum, with what could be the largest gas discovery in the United States in 100 years. It's 40,000 acres. It took them 40 years to piece it together in Wyoming. Mark, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you again, Wayne.
Tell us more about Lost Soldier. What have you got?
Well, I think we've got a really big gas field. I mean, in order to understand why it's just being done now, you got to understand the history. There was a uranium mine out here, and whenever there was a meltdown by 3 Mile Island, they started reclamating this mining and shut it down. 3 years ago, I got a call that basically asked me if I would drill it because they finally got the release and the reclamation was over and they had permits to drill it. So we drilled it. And it's the biggest discovery that I've ever made, okay? It's basically deep overpressured gas. Starting at around 13,000 feet, it's like a layer cake. It's just zone after zone of overpressure is what it is. So we're very excited about it. The other great thing is that it's surrounded by infrastructure, legacy fields that are essentially run out, and billions of dollars of infrastructure is there for us to utilize, and we don't have to build it. We're building a 5 mile line to hook into that infrastructure, and we believe we can produce up to 400 million a day within 36 months to fill that line, and then we're going to build a bigger line. That's the plan, and Yeah, we couldn't be more excited, Wayne, about what we have.
Hey, Mark, listen, I want to make sure people that contact you, if they're accredited investors and they want to hear more about the project, they want to get involved, they go to lostsoldier.com. Lostsoldier.com. Mark's got a whole team. Every one of them has 40 plus years of experience in the energy and oil business, and they will contact you, call you back, or email you back, and why is freedom unique to America? I think I already covered that. Same air, same land, same sea as Mexico and Canada, but we got the lowest taxes. We've got the lowest regulations. We allow people to actually make money and achieve here and do well, and that's what creates mobility and opportunity, and we're the least woke. All right, I gotta laugh the way things change quickly. Yesterday, I was kind of in a bad mood, and I read some really negative stories to start the show, because a lot of bad things happened yesterday to the United States of America, right? A lot of bad things. Today, a lot of good things have happened. Today's a good day. It goes back and forth like a ping pong tournament or a tennis match, you know. What now? Cable. Cable. Where's the cable? Oh, got it. Thank you. My cable was showing. Not the one you're thinking. Don't have naughty thoughts. My ear cable here, my IFB. So easy when you say that word, Patar. My cable is showing. So look, yesterday some bad things happened. Today I see a lot of good things. It goes back and forth. Today, as I mentioned in the opening segment, U.S. private payrolls post the biggest gain since January of 2025. Let me see if there's anything new in here that I need to know. Private employers added 122,000 new jobs in May, the highest since January of 2025, according to payroll processor ADP. So that's good, very good. And then Trump announces $700 million in investments to boost the U.S. coal industry to keep your electric bill down. That's good. The Dow soars 900 points to an all-time high. That's good. Here's a great one. The Pentagon drops 180 faiths from the military's recognized religions list. War Secretary Hegseth called the previous system of over 200 faith codes impractical and unstable and unusable. So we've removed 180 faiths from the list of recognized religions. Can you imagine that in the army? Oh, look, today I need a day off. It's the voodoo day for the witches' religion. It's the Satan's day off. I mean, our nation's incredibly stupid sometimes, man. But thank God we got a guy who's kind of smart. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, in there. That's good. Trump signs an executive order to facilitate the firing of federal employees. He formally advanced a long-sought effort to make it easier to remove senior federal employees involved in policymaking, arguing the change will help ensure government agencies are responsive to elected leadership and the American people. So it's the revival of the first Trump administration Schedule F initiative, and it's expected to affect roughly 8,000 federal employees. Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Todd Blanche is the new Attorney General, or at least he is nominated by Trump to be the new official Attorney General. And Todd Blanche, and Dr. Oz announced today new indictments against 14 defendants in the Ohio Medicaid fraud schemes. 49 home health care providers are suspended. I assume they're all Somalis, most probably. They're definitely all illegal aliens, I guarantee you. Obamacare fraud estimated to cost $25 billion this year alone. right? Improper Obamacare payments due to organized fraud. I mean, it's just the whole nation is run by Democrats involved in organized fraud. You remember organized crime? Now it's organized fraud. That's what the entire Democrat Party is. Stealing elections and stealing money. That's all they know how to do. President Trump announces investigation into California's extremely slow vote counts, just as suspicious late drops slash GOP leads in 2 critical races. And of course, they're talking about the LA mayor's race and the California governor's race. All these drops are so scary. Steve Hilton tears into California's election process as the vote counting is set to take weeks. In Florida, they know every time there's an election, on the night of the election, in a matter of hours, they know the final. Another one, Colombia, the country, counted all more than 20 million votes in its presidential election in a matter of a few hours, but California can't count votes in a matter of weeks. And finally, a little insanity. New York State Democrats pass a bill replacing the words mother and father with 2 ultra-woke terms. Let me just see what those terms are. Gestating parent and non-gestating parent. Oh, my God. Democrats are mentally insane. Mentally insane. Freedom Fest is the sponsor of today's show. It's the World's Fair of Liberty, July 8th to 11th at Caesars Forum Convention Center in Las Vegas. I attend every year. I speak every year. Here are the most famous speakers, authors, economists, health experts, political leaders. This year, ICE will be on trial. It's on national TV on C-SPAN. And the ICE defense attorney is Wayne Allyn Root. The MC is Kennedy from Fox News. Big-time speakers, famous celebrities. Join me at Freedom Fest. For my fans only, $100 off the registration fee. Go to freedomfest.com and use the promo code WAR to get your $100 off. freedomfest.com. Why is the 250th anniversary of America important? Well, that's a no-brainer, right? We're the greatest nation in the history of civilization. No one else has ever come close. And what's great about America is we have the same air, we breathe the same air, and we swim in the same ocean water as Mexico and Canada. And I hate to say this, but both those countries are nothing. I mean, Mexico's a nothing and Canada's a nothing. And America's the greatest nation in the history of civilization. Why? We share the same land, the same water, the same air. There's something in the air, and I believe it's just that America, the people who come here are patriotic, the people who come here are optimistic, the people who come here believe in themselves and believe in this country and have a passion and a love for this country. And this country responds in kind by giving the most incredible mobility and opportunity in the world, and that's because of low taxes, a very light regulation. Those are the 2 things in life that matter to me, taxes and regulation. So I've been telling you about Zicha Genesis medicine, and it's medicines to reverse type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's disease, and the #1 cause of death in the world, small vessel heart disease. That form of heart disease is responsible for about 1/3 of the deaths in the world, and therefore 1/3 of everyone watching. Joining us now is the CEO of Zicha Genesis Medicine, Dan Montano. Dan, your company's making some great medical advancements. Update on what you're doing in regard to brain disorders like Parkinson's disease.
First, Wayne, thank you for your support of yours and your people. It's been fantastic. Neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's disease, we believe, are vascular disruption in the brain. A stroke, dementia, Alzheimer's are all the same. But let me show you a Parkinson's patient, because a video is worth 1,000 words. This is Matt Davis. You see the date, May 23. He's being asked to lift his right foot. You can see that he can't lift it because his Parkinson's is so bad. He is in a wheelchair. He cannot walk. That is May 2023. We then dosed him, and here he is, April of 25, walking by himself down the driveway. He is unassisted, walking for the first time in 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
But it gets better, Wayne. because after 6 more months of dosing, he's playing catch, ball back and forth. This is a person who is improving from Parkinson's, recovering, not declining like everybody else you've ever heard of. We have 250 people like him.
Dan, that is amazing. Tell my fans about Zichad's investment opportunity.
It's very simple. People invest in funding a clinical study like the one on Parkinson's. We pay them 10 times their investment over from a royalty of 50%. If they're not happy at 48 months, I pay them double their money. And this allows us to pull forward a lot of the research we've done, like chronic wounds, Parkinson's, etc.
It sounds too good to be true. How do you justify that?
Very simple. Take the type 2 diabetes. The investors put up $5 million for the study. We pay them $50 million. The marketplace applications are probably $100 billion for us over the next 7 years. Who wouldn't pay $50 million to get $100 billion?
Unbelievable. That's an amazing story. If you're interested in learning more about this investment opportunity, go to cure-war.com, cure-war.com. Wouldn't it be great to make money and help cure disease at the same time? That's cure-war.com. Thank you, Dan. God bless you.
Bless you. Bye-bye.
Updated 9 worst words. I've updated it to I'm Mayor Zohran Mamdani and I'm here to help. And that is the 9 worst words in English language. I'm Mayor Zohran Mamdani and I'm here to help. Thank you, God, for New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. He is manna from heaven for Republicans. He's the greatest Republican salesman in history is what he is. Why do you think President Trump was so nice to Mamdani when he visited the White House? It was like the cat being nice to the mouse or the wolf being nice to the sheep, or Democrats being nice to middle-class voters while they campaign. It was all an act by President Trump. Like me, he wanted Mamdani to be Mamdani, to be the radical communist he truly is, to show America how communism really works. And Trump was thrilled to give Mamdani enough rope to hang himself. Metaphorically, of course, we're talking, not really. Nobody's talking about really hanging anybody, but politically hang himself, financially destroy the city of New York, and show us how communism works. Wayne Allyn Root, guest segment, and Energized Health is the sponsor of this guest segment. Before I get to our esteemed guest, I started with their program in November of 2020. I didn't really think I needed their program. That's me 15 years ago, by the way, at the age of 50, and now me today in the gym, different person, right? Different person because of Energized Health. And that would be, if that happened in a year, you'd go, wow, different person. How about 15 years later? I look better than 15 years previous. Amazing. Age of 65 in another month and a half. 6 weeks from now, I'll be 65. And I look younger than when I was 50. So thank you, Energized Health. I lost 25 pounds of fat. I gained 10 pounds of muscle in only 88 days to start the program, and I've kept it all off. I was 6 years ago. I gained energy. I gained intercellular hydration. I got in the best shape of my life. And I gained, at this point, I believe it's 5 new TV shows and podcasts past the age of 61. And now one of them in the 65th year of my life. I don't think that's ever happened in TV history. It's because Energized Health was my fountain of youth. Energized Health reversed aged me. I didn't think that was possible. It happened. Energized Health is also special in another way. It works effectively alongside GLP-1s like Mounjaro or Ozempic to help you minimize the terrible side effects of those drugs. They do a great job helping you lose weight, but terrible side effects. And Energized Health mitigates those side effects so that you feel healthy and you are healthy. It's fat loss the healthy way, not weight loss. And that's, I'm the living example. because I keep saying it reversed aged me. I keep saying they're my fountain of youth. I keep saying my face looks different. I lost fat, this and that. Well, I didn't lose any weight. I weigh the same amount as I did 6 years ago when I started this program, but I lost 25 pounds of fat. Here's your chance to be like Wayne. Energize Health can change your life and supercharge your health just like it did for me. Right now, Energize Health offering my fans the WAR 40% off discount. 40% off when you say WAR, because you got to make an appointment and speak to them. Go to energizehealth.com. That's energizehealth.com. When you speak to them, say WAR. Same journey as me. Energizedhealth.com, promo code WAR. All right, Jim Paff is with us, president of the Conservative Caucus. The website is theconservativecaucus.org. Jim, welcome to the show. How are you? Welcome back.
Doing well, Wayne. Good to see you.
Good to see you. California is still counting. I'm afraid that they're going to keep counting for the next 20 years until the Democrat wins. That's all they ever do. I've said this for years. Same thing goes on in my state of Nevada. You know, we've had now two Senate candidates, Adam Laxalt, and then 2 years later, Sam Brown, who both Republicans won on election night for U.S. Senate. And then 5 days later, after they kept counting, they both lost by a sliver. And you just go, how do you allow people to keep counting until they win? They're just going to, if it had taken them another 2 days, they would have lost in 7 days instead of 5. But they found enough votes in 5 days to beat them. This is their modus operandi. This is what they do, their MO. They wait to see how much you lead by an election night, and then they come up with as many fake ballots as they need, but they do it slowly so it doesn't look obvious, and they do it over 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. But in California, they have no shame. So they'll take weeks if they have to beat you.
Oh, Alan, you're so wrong. David Axelrod said that they do it this way in California because they want to make sure enough people can vote and because they want to take the time to closely scrutinize the ballots. Where are you coming from here? What is there to see here? Listen,
nothing to see.
We've got a situation in this country with Democrats, and in red and blue states, whenever these sorts of things happen where you have all this long ballot counting at the end, it always benefits Democrats. Like there's a pattern here, but California is even worse. By the way, for Nevada's sake, it's why you may or may not agree, but I'd like to see Sharon Angle become Secretary of State and maybe fix the system there. You need something to push back on these things. This has got to stop because the American people are watching California, and if they find out that neither potential winners are on the ballot, Spencer Pratt in particular down in L.A., they know that the fix was in. And that really makes California look wrong. Also, the Trump administration acknowledged that the U.S. attorney in the area is watching this situation and is going to investigate any wrongdoing. And I think we need that aggressive investigation because the other thing that's consistent with all of these people who run elections is they say very clearly that they will not allow Americans to inspect the voting. They always hold back. Chad Bianco became famous enough to get on the governor's ballot and attempt to run for the governor ticket because he found 661,000 votes that were irregular. And then what did the attorney general in California do? He went to a friendly court and stopped that process. It's insane what these people do.
So I think I can prove that elections are being stolen by Democrats. You know what my proof is? I don't believe ever in history a Republican has been behind on election night and won 5 days later. Only Democrats win 5 days later after they were behind on election night. Doesn't anyone find that a little suspicious? Does anyone think that's a coincidence? I mean, every single Democrat in the world or every single candidate in the world who's ever been behind, and then after 5, 6, 7 days of additional counting with mail-in ballots and no voter ID that winds up winning and coming from behind and pulling off a miracle win is a Democrat. No Republican ever wins with additional ballots. Doesn't that prove elections are stolen?
Well, I'm not going to claim proof. I think it proves that the problem is with Democrats, wherever it does exist. I mean, that is very evident. Also, Wayne, we should be passing. This is where John Thune needs to be kicked out of Congress because we should have passed the Save America Act, which would fix a whole lot of these problems and help us to this is what the Save America Act does. It takes us back to the way we did elections for 230 straight years. We didn't have perfect elections from our founding through about the turn of the 21st century. We just had the gold standard of elections. And when errors happened, we were able to find them out and at least attempt to do something about that. We cannot do that for the last 20 plus years because Democrats were successful at running to favorable courts, changing the election process in violation of the Constitution. Only a state legislature can change elections. Now, in California, they did. The legislature did put it to where they have third world elections now. We didn't used to have third world elections. Everyone came to us to validate when some third world dictator wanted to make himself look better because the elections happened. They asked us to do it. I don't know that you can do that
You know what the answer is, Jim?
Democrats always are the beneficiaries, as you say, and that's where the problem lay.
The answer, I think, is remember when we took over Iraq and we won the Iraq War and then we had an election and we made everyone put a stamp on their fingers. They couldn't vote twice. They voted in person. They got a stamp. They couldn't come back and vote again. Why don't we just do that in America? We oversaw that in Iraq to prevent a stolen election in Iraq. That would be a great way to run America's elections. You have to vote in person. You have to vote in one day and you get a red dye on your finger and you can't come back and vote a second time. And of course, you need ID to prove it's you in the first place. If we did that, we would win every election. And that's why Democrats won't allow it, because they couldn't win if we did that.
Well, you nailed it on the head there. And by the way, Wayne, hold on a minute. You're being a bit too severe. You can't highly scrutinize an election like that. You'd have to go to same-day voting and people showing up in person. How could you do that? That's not the way you do elections. I mean, the Democrats have been successful at making all of this seem like what we're doing right now is normal. It is highly abnormal. It is not the way valid elections happen. And you hit the nail on the head when you said Democrats would never win elections if we did it the right way, which is exactly why they've done what they've done during this decade, these 2 decades, last 2+ decades, to change our elections in violation largely of the Constitution and certainly in violation of real elections, because they do not have anything the American people want by and large. 25% of them want it, but that's about it.
Right. Well, I mean, it's crazy that, we're the United States of America. They say the Ohio State University. We're the United States of America. Coolest nation, greatest nation, most wealthy nation, most prosperous nation, most free nation in the history of the world. And the 2 places I think we should copy to have fair elections would be Iraq with the red ink on your finger and Mexico, which demands that, first of all, you only vote in Spanish. They don't let you vote in English in Mexico, one language. And number 2, they make sure that you have not only government-issued photo ID, but you've also got thumbprint. You have to match your thumbprint in order to vote. So Mexico, little third world Mexico, and fourth world Iraq have better elections than the United States does. Isn't that amazing? I'm just amazed by it. All right, so let me get to some other topics because I don't want to run out of time. New Jersey Democrat Adam Hamaway wins the primary for Congress despite ties to Al Qaeda and a convicted terrorist. How low can our nation go?
Well, it just shows again, you and I have talked about this in the past. The Democrat Party is seeking to overthrow the American Republic. That is literally their goal. They are the insurrectionists. They believe in a philosophy of government that is entirely antithetical to the American Constitution. I mean, like, Republicans are kind of lazy or cowards in Washington, D.C. when they don't do that, but at least they make some pretense of thinking that the Constitution is important. The Democrats make no such pretense. They are purposefully, intentionally attempting to initiate the great replacement theory that everyone got all mad about, those who talked about when the immigration situation got out of hand in the Biden administration. But again, they're trying to take away every anchor to the liberties and freedoms that the Constitution holds up, both in the Bill of Rights and in the base document of the Constitution itself, for the mere grab of power. They are lustful for power. All politicians are lustful for something, but the particular power that Democrats are lustful for looks a whole lot like that both Lenin and Castro were successful at.
Because they're communists. They're communists.
Countries.
Hey, Jim, we got a 10 count. We're on the way out. Jim Paff, president of the Conservative Caucus, theconservativecaucus.org. Always a pleasure having you on. Great stuff. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Jim. Hi, this is Wayne Allyn from my great. All right, Wayne Allyn, I am joined by Gordon Bond. What an honor. Owner of Bond Arms, one of the great gun manufacturers, all made in the USA, all made in Texas. His website is getbondarms.com. Gordon, what makes Bond Arms different from any other gun manufacturer?
Well, when my brother started the company a long time ago, the regular Derringer, let me see if I can get it in the picture here, was basically known as a cheap, dangerous throwaway gun. This is a 1865 model. Derringers have been around forever. And what he did was take a dangerous gun and just made it very cool by better materials, trigger guard, interchangeable barrels, solid stainless steel. And Wayne, like you saw at the show, people love picking them up and just holding them. And it's just like, they pick it up and it's like, wow, this is like a real gun.
That's great. I saw it. My wife and I were at the show, and she's a gun aficionado even more than I am. And she said it was the best booth at the entire gun show. Out of thousands of booths was Gordon's booth, Bond Arms. To celebrate America's 250th anniversary, Bond Arms is releasing the American 250 edition handgun at a special price only for my fans. Tell us about it.
So one thing that we wanted to do, when I graduated in 1976, it was the bicentennial, and that's all they talked about all year long. And so when this 250th anniversary was coming up, we really wanted to do something special on this. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is the stainless steel version. It's 45 long Colt and 410 shotgun shell, very well built. I mean, our guns are built like a tank. People love the quality. They call it a hand cannon, best snake gun you've ever had. Oh yeah, there's a beautiful side with the flag and the Liberty. And people just love the way that we do things. I mean, they'll come to our booth every year and just go, wow, what are y'all doing this year? You know, what crazy thing are you doing this year? So the American 250, we're really going to focus on that. We want to give everybody the opportunity to own a piece of history.
Gun. What a beautiful gun. What a gorgeous gun. The engravings. Wow. And I love that name, hand cannon. I want a hand cannon. Mine got delivered today. I'll have them for next week's show. My own personal hand cannon from Bond Arms. How do you get it? Go to getbondarms.com. See the number on the screen, getbondarms.com, or call 817-573-4445. See the disclaimer on the bottom of the screen for certain restrictions. Getbondarms.com. Gordon, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn from Vertical Research Advisory, VRA. Kip Herridge's one-of-a-kind global investment and economic newsletter. Listen up. Trump is in charge. The glory days are here.
Growth rates are only going to grow from here.
This is your 4-year window to make a fortune and set up your retirement for the rest of your life. Kip wins whether the markets are up or down, whether the economy is up or down.
We set our folks up for long-term success.
For 21 years, Kip's been a friend, as well as my personal financial advisor. During that time, he's beaten the markets 86% of the time, while the average Wall Street money manager loses the market 90% of the time. Now Kip is predicting a new golden age for the economy. Let Kip prove it to you for free. Kip's offering his daily VRA investment letter completely free for 2 weeks. Free for 2 weeks. Try it for 2 weeks. I know you'll stay for life. Join now at VRAinsider.com. All right, right, Wayne Allyn Root. It's interesting because I was talking about President Trump announcing an investigation into California's extremely slow vote count, just as suspicious late drops slash GOP leads in two critical races. And my good friend John Goodman, who's my election integrity expert, just sent me this text. He said, look at this picture I snapped of the 2020 Michigan election the morning after the election at 4:37 a.m. Donald Trump had a 286,000 vote lead. And when Michigan was done counting votes 9 days later, his 286,000 vote lead was now a 154,000 vote loss. That's a 430,000 vote swing starting the day after the election in Michigan 2020. And it's funny because the other thing is the picture is so amazing. First of all, it shows Michigan presidential race, Trump winning really pretty big, 51.9, so 52% versus Biden's 46%. Trump had a 6-point lead. Nobody can overcome that on the night of the election. Trump has 2.2 million votes. Biden has 1.9. But second of all, it shows the CNN anchorman, and he's wearing a mask over his face. Why would you wear a mask over your face in 2020 on TV? I guess there were cameramen in the room, and you're all wearing masks because you're afraid of each other. I never wore a mask, but during 2020, I was on Newsmax TV, and I was here with a podcast, and I look just like I look now. I never thought of putting a mask on while I was doing my TV show. I mean, I'm telling you, I never wore a mask anywhere. But I couldn't even imagine wearing it during a TV show, talking with a mask on, covering your face. What kind of a moron would talk with a mask on, covering your face on TV? You got to be a moron. And I know there were lots of morons back then because my wife and I like a show called, is it called Emergency 911 or is it just called 911? I don't know. It's a TV show called 911. And we watched that a lot. And they just were going through 2020 repeats the other day. And they all wore masks. And I'm like, you're watching TV. You can't have people with masks. All the stars' faces were covered. How do you even know who they are anymore? How do you watch a TV show with people with masks? It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. So, highly popular reality TV star turned mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt and businessman Steve Hilton emerged on election night seemingly in good shape to advance past the open primary for LA mayor and California governor. Pratt is currently leading Marxist LA City Councilwoman Nithya Raman and trailing Bass by a slim margin. Hilton leads all candidates for governor. Few votes have been tallied since election night, but the ones counted so far have been really good for Democrats. Are we beginning to execute the seal? Are Democrats beginning to execute the steal? That's the question. Trump thinks so. This morning, he alleged big cheating by Democrats and announced an investigation has been launched by the U.S. Attorney's Office in L.A. There's big cheating by Democrats in California, Trump wrote. Votes all tied up, may not be in for weeks. This comes just as Democrats are already starting to gain and lock out the GOP in two critical races. In the L.A. mayoral race, Communist City Councilwoman Nithya Raman has cut into Spencer Pratt's lead as the vote count continues at a snail's pace. Some experts believe she may be able to make up the deficit if the counting drags on long enough. Of course you can, because if you keep counting until you win, you win. Doesn't anybody understand that? In equally bad news, both leading Democrats in the gubernatorial election not only made gains, but the estimated total number of votes still to be counted has increased. How can that be? How is that? Well, of course, because there's massive cheating. I get it. This opens the possibility Hilton will be locked out leading the runoff, even though he's leading right now, leaving the runoff between Xavier Becerra and Tom Steyer. So you just can't even imagine that this could be going on. But I heard there was a ballot drop, but it was like, I don't know, tens of thousands for Becerra and tens of thousands for Steyer and basically zero for Hilton. And I keep telling people, I respect them for running. Hilton's a good candidate. I respect Spencer for running. He's a great candidate, I think. But they never had a chance. You can't win. It's rigged in California. And the reason it's rigged, I've said this several days in a row now, it's rigged because their entire party, their entire power, their hold on power of government is based on stealing elections and stealing money and bringing in illegal aliens and giving them money they stole from the taxpayers. And so you can't allow a Republican to win because that Republican would then hire a special team of investigators and prosecutors to look into the stealing, and you'd all go to jail. Every Democrat in California will go to jail. Governor Newsom will go to jail. Karen Bass will go to jail. This councilwoman will go to jail. This socialist councilwoman. They've all got their hands in the cookie jar. They will all go to jail. Do you understand that? Unbelievable what's going on in our country. All right. VRA is the sponsor of this segment of the show. After 15 years on Wall Street at the highest levels, in 2003, Kip Herriage founded VRA, his global investment and economic newsletter. He did it for moms and pops, right, for average middle-class people. Since then, his top-performing recommendations have beaten the market almost 90% of the time, 19 out of 22 years. And not just beat the market, but often beating the market by a mile. His biggest picks, his highest-rated picks, called 10 baggers, up 35.7% last year and 38% average each of the last 3 years. Meanwhile, Barron's reports the average Wall Street money manager loses to the market 90% of the time. I'm a witness for these 25 years. A witness for these 23 years. The guy is amazing. It's like he has a crystal ball, Kip Herriage. The fact is the VRA portfolio beats the market in good years and bad years. Whether the market's up or down, you make money. Go to VRAinsider.com and check it out 2 weeks for free. What do you got to lose? Nothing. 2 weeks free. VRAinsider.com because you're a fan of Wayne Root. 2 weeks free. VRAinsider.com. Be right back. Hour 2 coming up.
What would you say if we told you you could reverse most any ailment or symptom
without painful exercises in just 88 days? We have created the only patent-pending intercellular hydration protocol.
Don't miss your opportunity to feel better. We know there's a lot of false hope out there, and many people have bought programs that work for a moment, but life's a lot longer than a moment.
We have been helping people gain intercellular hydration for nearly 3 decades.
You will lose fat, not weight, fat. Fast, including that killer visceral fat. Chronic dehydration is one of the root causes of many ailments and symptoms. Ask your doctor about Energized Health. Don't miss your opportunity to transform your health now.
So log on to energizedhealth.com. That's energizedhealth.com.
Possible side effects may include increased joy, energy, potential reduction in prescriptions, more fulfilling relationships, fewer doctor visits, and overall improved quality of health and life.
Coming to you from Las Vegas. This is known as Warzone Live, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. East Coast time. Great to be with you. All kinds of things happening. This is the mainstream media, not the mainstream media, and I am the biggest MAGA mouth in the world. We got a great guest. Dinesh D'Souza is with us. Dinesh, we appreciate you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Wayne.
Buckle up your seatbelts. Let's go to war. I'm an SOB, son of a butcher, and America has been great to me. Only in America could these things happen. People like my grandfather wouldn't make it where he came from, and my father wouldn't make it in any other country. Well, that's a no-brainer, right? We're the greatest nation in the history of civilization. No one else has ever come close.
Good to see you again, Wayne.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be back with you, my friend.
Doing great, Wayne. Good to be here.
The Root's on fire. Welcome to my show, Warzone Live. Monday through Friday, official podcast, The Gateway Pundit, from 6 to 8 p.m. East Coast time, 3 to 5 p.m. West Coast time every day. This is the Wayne Stream Media. No more mainstream media allowed in. Only Wayne Stream Media, meaning raw truth and in-your-face mother trucker information. As many of you know, I'm an idea man. I don't just criticize like 99% of TV and radio hosts. I contribute with doable solutions. The American people don't like it. I know. I speak to them. The people who believe in themselves and believe in this country and have a passion and a love for this country. And this country responds in kind by giving the most incredible mobility and opportunity in the world. And that's because of low taxes and very light regulation. Those are the two things in life that matter to me, taxes and regulation. If you don't have a lot of laws, a lot of woke laws, and a lot of communist, Marxist, socialist, leftist laws, and you don't have high taxes, then anybody who's smart can get ahead and achieve whatever they want in life.
Warning! The root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star, direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, Wayne Allyn Roots. We are back. Hour number 2, Warzone Live, the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. And we'll have some changes next week, which we'll be announcing very soon. Some changes next week in the time you'll be watching this podcast live and how long this podcast would be. We're actually making changes because we heard from you. And I listen to people. I listen to, people who enjoy my show, my fans, my viewers, my listeners, podcast viewers, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's going to be a little bit different next week, and we'll tell you about it soon. In the meantime, I want to tell you about Talkers because I'm very proud of the fact that I'm a TV guy now, whether it's my TV show America's Top 10 Countdown on weekends or my TV show America Speaks during the week, Monday through Friday, both of which on Real America's Voice TV network. Very proud of them both. 2 TV shows now, and my podcast, which is a video podcast if you're watching right now. My whole life now is TV. Radio is a very small portion of my life, and yet Talkers ranked me the number 30 talker in the United States of America. Number 30 in a nation of 330 million is not bad. 8th year in a row, I'm on the heavy 100 list. I'm number 1 in Las Vegas. I don't believe there's anyone else from Las Vegas on the list, but if they are, they're far below number 30. I guess I didn't look at number 60 through 100, but I think I'm the only Vegas only Vegas talk show host on the list, and number 30 in the United States of America, ahead of Bill O'Reilly, ahead of Kim Commando, who's a big-time radio host for ladies, women across America, Armstrong and Getty. I beat Armstrong and Getty. Hugh Hewitt of Salem Media, Bill Cunningham, my great friend who has the biggest weekend show in America, Wayne Root rated ahead of him, and Rob Carson of Newsmax, Steve Gruber of my network, Real America's Voice, and of course my old buddy Lee Elsey is on the list. He made the list. Lee Elsey, one of the top 100 talkers in the United States. Congratulations, Lee. But Wayne Root beat out most of the big ones, and hopefully next year a lot more. All right, let me read the commentary I wrote today. I think it's very important. It's titled President Trump is the greatest president of my lifetime, but his DOJ is weak, feckless, and cowardly. And it's the DOE, the Department of Excuses, not Department of Justice. It's the Department of Excuses. Wait till you hear what his Assistant Attorney General said on my podcast. So because I give out my personal email on my 2 national TV shows, and nationally syndicated radio show, and national podcast, I get thousands of emails from patriots across this country. My finger is on the pulse of what average, everyday Americans think like no one else in the conservative media. I also understand something about the American people that few politicians or media ever will. Just because someone isn't a billionaire or famous or have a degree from Harvard or Yale or Princeton or Stanford doesn't make them dumb. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't listen to them. To the contrary, the average, everyday, middle-class Americans that I speak to are actually smarter than the politicians, CEOs, and big-shot lawyers I know. They certainly have more common sense. The number one thing almost every one of these average, everyday Americans says in their emails to me is, are you waiting for it? This is what they all say. I mean, they all have something different to say, but they all have one thing in common. Where are the arrests? Why isn't President Trump arresting dirty, corrupt Democrats? Why are Democrat lawmakers never charged with obvious, irrefutable violations of the law? Why are Democrats who commit treason and insurrection and who aid and abet illegal alien criminals walking free? Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. I do get all my best ideas from all of you. Then earlier this week, I had a top official from the DOJ as a guest on this national podcast, War Zone Live, the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. I had the honor of interviewing Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon of the Trump DOJ. My fans' concerns are very valid, and they know I have the platform to get answers, and they know I have the balls to ask the right questions. I was very respectful to Assistant AG Harmeet Dillon when I brought up LA Mayor Karen Bass. It was not a pre-planned question. It was off the cuff, simply because the shocking story had just come out. I said, and I quote to Harmeet Dillon, Assistant Attorney General of the United States, I said, LA Mayor Karen Bass has publicly announced she is heading an obstruction campaign against ICE and will not follow federal law when it comes to cooperating and turning over illegal aliens. Mayor Bass was very clear that she will obstruct immigration laws, ICE, and law enforcement. Why don't we indict and arrest her for treason or insurrection or aiding and abetting foreign criminals illegally on American soil? She is actively promoting insurrection against the U.S. federal government. Well, I could see Assistant AG Dillon tense up right away. The answer I received from her almost knocked me off my feet. Could have knocked me over with a feather. as she defended the LA mayor, calling Bass's remarks protected free speech. No, it's not. This is unbelievable, unacceptable, pure cowardice. The assistant AG of the Trump DOJ just waved the white flag like our DOJ represents France. Because this is not free speech. It's action, right? It's the action as LA's mayor giving the commands and providing cover for insurrection against the laws of our country. It's her saying publicly that the federal law doesn't matter in Los Angeles. It's inciting anarchy. Laws don't matter, according to LA, right? If any elected official refuses to comply with federal law and encourages others to not comply with federal law, they are by definition a criminal committing insurrection against our country. They are modern-day Benedict Arnolds. January 6th was a peaceful protest against a stolen election, clearly stolen election, and it was turned into entrapment by Nancy Pelosi and the dirty, crooked FBI. Mayor Karen Bass, however, is conducting a real coup. This is a real insurrection. This is a communist color revolution, an attempted overthrow of the Trump administration and the U.S. government under the command of Mayor Karen Bass and dozens of other radical Democrat mayors across the country. Mayor Bass is directing radicals to not comply with U.S. law if they don't like it. Can you imagine if you really could do this in America? If you don't like the law, you don't have to comply with it. So I got to add this. I got to remember to add this to the commentary. I personally don't like the IRS, and I don't really like paying taxes. So F you. I've decided to no longer pay taxes. Would you allow that? How about if I don't like California's tax rules? I'm not paying taxes anymore. Would you allow that? Mayor Bass is directing radicals to not comply with U.S. law if you don't like it. She's inciting them to riot against ICE and commit violence against ICE officers and chase federal officers out of Los Angeles. That's her goal. A mayor or any elected official whose actions encourage breaking the law and incite violent riots and violence against law officers of the U.S. government should be immediately arrested. Set an example or this will never end. Well, the assistant AG looked angry that I asked about this topic, but I didn't care because the American people deserve answers. I never backed down, so I pushed Assistant AG Dillon again for an answer as to why the LA mayor could not be charged for criminal actions. This time her answer wasn't about protected speech. She had a new excuse. The Assistant AG of the Trump DOJ, it's not like this is the Biden DOJ or the Obama DOJ. She's Trump's gal. She represents Trump. And she claimed that cases in California can't be prosecuted because, quote, in a blue state like California, we wouldn't win in court anyway. What? I was stunned with what I was hearing. Our DOJ no longer prosecutes cases in blue states and blue cities because we probably can't win? It's a dangerous message that Assistant Attorney General Dillon is sending. If I'm an illegal alien or I'm a Democrat official in California, she just gave carte blanche for me to break the law. And I won't be charged because Trump's DOJ waves the white flag when it comes to prosecuting in blue states like California. Really? This is a total loser mentality. Keep in mind, AG Dillon represents President Trump, who prides himself on always winning. Hashtag winning. You'll never get sick of winning, or we might win so much you will get sick of winning. Trump's all about winning. Always aiming for unconditional surrender of our enemies. Remember, he wanted the unconditional surrender of Iran. Is President Trump aware his own top DOJ officials are saying that his DOJ unconditionally surrenders to blue cities and blue states? Laws no longer enforced if a Democrat commits a crime in a blue city or blue state. That's why we're losing America, folks, because Democrats fight and stick together and are willing to do anything to win, weaponizing government, spying on Trump, persecuting Trump, rigging juries and judges against Trump, using the IRS to destroy the lives of political opponents. And Republicans are weak, feckless cowards who find excuses to always compromise, settle, back down, avoid battle, or wave the white flag of defeat. I love President Trump. I trust President Trump. I will always be loyal to President Trump. I will always fight for President Trump, but he's being blocked at every turn by Democrats and communists and deep state. and radical judges and, sadly, his own GOP senators and his own government officials. It's one big conspiracy. It's one giant gaslighting. It's the whole world versus Trump. But the real problem, sadly, is our own team, right? It's our own DOJ. My interview with President Trump's assistant AG answered your questions, but it wasn't the answer we wanted. Now you understand the obstacles we face. No one is fighting for us. Even President Trump's top officials make excuses for Democrats who break the law. And if we can't get justice with the greatest president of my lifetime, then it appears we will never get it. Warning, do not show this book to Democrats. Their heads will explode. It's How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great, and it's 101 blank pages. 101 blank pages. It's a great gag gift to show to anyone in your life. Buy 50 of them and hand it out to all your friends to make the case that we all know that illegal immigrants have done nothing for America. Stop lying. Anything they did 100 times more was bad. How illegal immigrants have made America great. A few of them have done some good things. They've been maids. They've been nannies. They've mowed your lawn. Okay, but they took billions in welfare, billions in food stamps, billions in disability. It is a net negative on America, and I prove it with 100 blank pages. You'll love the book. Go get it at Amazon. Look up Wayne Allyn Root Books, and we'll turn this into a #1 bestseller, as all my recent books have been. All right, one of my favorite guests ever, Allyn Pariser's with us, an advocate for GreatPatriotStore.com. He's been a customer for 36 years, almost 4 decades. My wife and I, Cindy, do much of our monthly shopping now at GreatPatriotStore.com. It's an alternative to wokeness. It's run by pro-American conservatives. USA Today voted it one of the best stores in America in 2025. And with all these communists taking over, Allyn Pariser, New York, Seattle, Chicago, promising cheap government groceries or free, you need to buy American. Tell us why.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of our competitors have completely lost it. They've gone totally woke over the years, but our founding axiom is really very simple. For 41 years, we've been focused on manufacturing exceptional products at reasonable prices, made by Americans, here in America, for Americans. And we've expanded. We have manufacturing plants across the United States, distribution plants across the United States. And not only can Americans get the best quality, the best price from Great Patriot Store, in most cases, we can deliver to your front door even faster than Amazon.
So prices are high everywhere. Procter & Gamble and Amazon are considering price increases. How do the prices at Great Patriot Store compare to national brands?
Well, we've got hundreds of products, Wayne, but if you just take a look at one like our laundry detergent, we make it, it's patented, and it's literally almost fractions, almost half the price of our competitors, and you get 96 loads of wash. It's the best value. There's no toxic chemicals in any of our products whatsoever. And if you're looking to lose some of those holiday pounds, you don't need the shots with the LPG-1 drugs. We have something called berberine. Nature's Ozempic is what people are calling it. It's legit, it works, and we've got it at a better price than any of our competitors.
All right, we've got just seconds to go, so be quick. I love your beef. I eat your sirloin and your New York steak all the time. It's kind of breakfast and lunch for me all the time. Why is your beef superior?
Made in America, never, ever any hormones, ever any antibiotics, no mRNA. It's all prime. It's the best quality that you can find at the best price, free shipping, and it's the best beef on the planet.
All right, to get your free gift, that's right, a free gift, purchase the beef and other great American products. You got to be a member. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com, fill out the form. One of their conservative team members will contact you right away. GreatPatriotStore.com. Happy New Year. Thank you, Allyn.
Thank you, Wayne. God bless.
My new book is out, How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. You can only get it at Amazon. How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. Finally, all of their unsung achievements in one book, and it's 100+ blank pages. Okay, get it? It's a gag gift, and it even says on the front, warning, do not show this book to Democrats. their heads will explode. And the greatest gag gift ever for conservatives, Republicans, MAGA patriots, and anyone born in the USA. How illegal immigrants have made America great. 100 blank pages. Go get 10 copies, 20 copies. Give it out to all your friends so they get the message that illegal immigrants have not done anything to make America great. And by the way, understand my theory here. Legal immigrants have done lots of things to make America great. Our whole country is legal immigrants. My grandparents were legal immigrants. Your grandparents were legal immigrants. Your great-grandparents were legal immigrants. I want to amend what I said a while ago. I was thinking about this. Based on Harmeet Dillon and what she said on this show 2 days ago, if I don't like the IRS and I don't like paying taxes, and I choose to no longer pay taxes and opt out of the system, and I live in a red state, then a Democrat president and his administration, his DOJ, would say, Wayne Root's in a red state. We have no way of winning with their judges and juries. So let's just ignore Wayne Root cheating on his taxes and not paying taxes. Do you believe that could ever happen? Does anyone believe that could happen? And yet she's saying the exact opposite, that because it's in a blue state, we're going to ignore it because we couldn't win. So when the Democrats win, I'm not going to pay taxes, and let's see what happens. I'll go to jail for 50 years. You'll never hear from me again. Republicans are so dumb. Why are you so dumb? I want to shake you till your stupidness falls out of your ears, you morons. And I'm going to prove it to you in a second, by the way. Let me just mention my latest book is out, How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great, and it's 100 blank pages. Funny. It's a gag gift. Best gag gift ever for conservatives, Republicans, MAGA patriots. And then it has a warning on the label, do not show this book to Democrats. Their heads will explode. All the great things illegal immigrants have done for America, and it's blank. The only page is the last page. It's got my bio. That's it. That's the only thing in the book. How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. You can only get it at Amazon.com. All my books become bestsellers there. Let's make it a #1 bestseller. Buy 10 of them for your friends. Give it out. They will all laugh their asses off. Now, let me give you the breaking news, again, that proves how dumb Republicans are. Because John Goodman's my election expert, and him and I have been screaming from the highest mountain for so long now. What is the matter with you guys? The Save America Act is never going to pass. Are you all dumb? You know, there's people out there like Scott Pressler. Oh, we've got to pass the SAVE Act. Oh, my God. And I said that a year ago. But you can't pass it now. Number one, it can't pass. There aren't the votes to pass it. I keep saying that. If you don't undo the filibuster, you can't pass it. And if you did undo the filibuster, I still don't think you could pass it. But if you did pass it, it's too late because there will be legal challenges and it will never get to the Supreme Court by Election Day. So Trump needs to sign a National Security Emergency Resolution or a National Security Emergency Declaration, whatever word you want to use. And it's a national security emergency for elections. And all the things that are in the SAVE Act and then some, like paper ballots, would be in this one. And you say, well, why is that a big deal, Wayne? Well, first of all, Trump can do it. He doesn't need the Senate to pass it. And number two, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in 1984 that if a president signs a national security emergency, you can't undo it without a 2/3 vote of both houses of the Congress, meaning the House and the Senate. Both have to have 2/3 votes. That's impossible for Democrats to achieve, and therefore they won't be able to get it in place. Won't be able to stop it before the midterm elections, and Trump will get everything he wants before the midterm elections. So why am I right? Why is John Goodman right? Breaking news, the Senate votes 48-50 to reject the Save America Act. 4 Republicans joined Democrats to vote against it. Which traitors voted against it? Murkowski of Alaska, piece of filth. McConnell, piece of garbage. He doesn't even vote anymore. McConnell is weekend at Bernie's. He's dead, you idiots. The guy has no brains left. Other people are voting for him while he dribbles and makes it his pants in his wheelchair, you morons. Tom Tillis, who's a Democrat, the worst Democrat in the world, but he's got an R after his name, from North Carolina. And, of course, Collins from Maine. 4 worst Republicans on the planet Earth voted with Democrats. So if we had gotten rid of the filibuster, it still would have lost 48-50. We keep arguing, John Goodman and I. It's never going to pass. Now you know it's never going to pass. President Trump needs a national security emergency for elections declaration. All right. 90 seconds left. Let me just see. The only other news that I think is important enough that I want to get in again is Obamacare fraud. Estimated to cost $25 billion this year. Obamacare is a joke. I want to mention that just days ago it came out, I think it was on Monday, that Obamacare now costs the average American family more than their mortgage. The average mortgage in America is $2,000 a month, and the average Obamacare is $2,200 a month. This is what Barack Obama did to America. It was not a mistake. He is not evil, just evil, and he's not stupid. He's a communist, terrorist, suicide bomber, traitor, sent to destroy us. I'm telling you. All right, Bond Arms is a sponsor of this show. We have a gun worthy of President Trump's 250th anniversary celebration, introducing the Bond Arms America 250 edition handgun, American made, precision crafted, built like a tank, performs like a hand cannon, takes shotgun shells. Bond Arms builds the smallest, most powerful personal protection handgun you can carry. Go to getbondarms.com. Secure your America 250 at the special price of only $499. It's $100 savings for my fans and friends, and they've got other smaller guns and lighter guns for only $299, and they give you rebates on them. Supplies are limited. Go now. GetBondArms.com. GetBondArms.com. And coming up next, a great interview with Harmeet Dillon, the one I opened my commentary with. We're going to show it to you right now. If you don't have a lot of laws and you don't have high taxes, then anybody who's smart can get ahead and achieve whatever they want in life. And Exhibit A and Example A is me and my family, right? My grandfather came here without 2 cents in his pocket, and really America was great to him. And my father was born without 2 cents in his pocket in Brownsville, Brooklyn, on Pitkin Avenue, one of the worst places in the world still to this day. And America was great to him. And he became a butcher, but a butcher store owner. That's a big difference. And I'm an SOB, son of a butcher, and America has been great to me. Only in America could these things happen. People like my grandfather wouldn't make it where he came from, Germany, and my father wouldn't make it in any other country, and me, Wayne Allyn, listen, I went from an SOB, son of a butcher, in a working class neighborhood in Mount Vernon, New York, on the Bronx borderline, attending one of the worst high schools in America, 4,000 students, so almost 100% black, and a few tough Italian guys, and me, one Jew. I'm joined by Kip Herridge, my old buddy, and an economic expert, CEO of Vertical Research Advisory. His website, VRAinsider.com. As I've explained on this show so many times, VRA has beaten the market in 19 of the last 22 years since Kip founded the VRA in 2003. Over the last 3 years, VRA had an average gain of 37%. Kip, congratulations on your success. I've seen it firsthand for over 22 years. I've read your newsletter for the last 22 plus years. You're my personal financial expert. How do you guys keep beating the markets almost every year when 90% of Wall Street money managers fail to do so?
Well, thanks, Wayne. I worked in that environment for 15 years, worked at Wall Street 15 years, helped take 7 companies public, raised and managed several $100 million. And I know how the groupthink of Wall Street works, and that's not how people make money. 90% of money managers, as you say, don't beat the markets every year. We do. And the reason really is I had great mentors that helped me to create what we call our VRA investing system. It's our proprietary market timing and sector selection system that tells us when to be in the market, when to be out, when to be aggressive, and when to take some profits, and take some money to cash. And that helps us with our sector selection. Again, market timing, those are real keys. And we also love doing individual stock research. So that's where you put our clients and subscribers into, again, ETFs, individual stocks, and we also love Bitcoin and gold, as you know, and silver. In 2003, I recommended gold at $350 an ounce, silver at $5. We recommended Bitcoin at $2,000 in 2017. And combined with those three, we're up over 4,000% in gains for our 40 times your money for our subscribers. So we do things a little differently. Fifth and sixth generation native Texans, and we love what we do here in Texas.
Well, I'm a witness to all of it. I've been there for all of it. There's a lot of fear out there today, Kip. What should investors know about the stock market right now?
Yeah, you got to be in this market. That's what investors should know. Look, volatility is the price of admission. It just is. It comes with the territory. But these dips give us great buying opportunities. Look, we've been the most bullish market strategists in America for the last 4 years. We call this the innovation revolution meets the Trump economic miracle meets an absolute ocean of liquidity. Those are our big three. Again, Trump's economic miracle this year is really going to start paying its dues. We expect GDP growth to hit 5% this year. We expect the markets we think this bull market runs into the 2030s.
All right, everyone. I mean, everyone gets 2 weeks free automatically by going to VRAinsider.com. 2 weeks free. Judge for yourself. VRAinsider.com. Kip Herridge, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Why is freedom worth defending? Well, because there's nowhere else to go. There's no other country in the world to go to. So where are we going to escape to? We got to make America work. I would ask the opposite question. Why do all you communists and Marxists and socialists want to change America? Why do you stay where you are? And those of you who were born here that want communism, you know, the Bernie Sanders morons, the AOC morons, why don't you just go to the communist countries? Why are you so intent on changing something that works so well in the greatest country in the history of civilization? Who'd be dumb enough to want to change that? Democrats. All right, Harmeet Dillon is with Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the DOJ. She's been on several times before. She is fantastic, and we welcome her. Harmeet, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back.
Yes, and you know, I got to ask you a couple legal questions before we even get to the stuff we're going to talk about, because two things are in the news today, and you're a great lawyer, and they just drive me crazy. I don't understand. Why can't we arrest Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles when she says out loud, "I am leading the resistance to ICE"? Isn't that saying that you're a traitor to the United States? You're aiding and abetting criminals, and you're going against federal law. It just seems to me if I was against a federal law that liberals loved, I would have a knock on my door. It would be a FBI, SWAT team at 5 a.m, and they drag me away in front of my wife, my kids, and my dog. Right? How come liberal politicians get away with saying something? This is not a political difference. If you want to change the law, change the law. But if you say I'm against that law and I'm going to fight that law, I'm going to be the resistance to that law, we're not going to allow ICE in our city. Why aren't you aiding and abetting criminals or violating the Constitution? Why isn't that a crime?
Well, look, I think that there's a line between protected speech and between something that you can prove as a crime beyond a reasonable doubt. And so remember that a jury for this case would be in Los Angeles, and you have to, as a prosecutor, only bring cases that you believe you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt in that community. So I think that, I disagree with her statement, but, lawful resistance to the government and expressing that is protected speech. So it's not really clear from her statement. Now, if she picks up a brick and throws it through a window, that's a clear case. But speech is, something we're very protective of in our country.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I don't think it's speech. I think it's action. I think these are politicians.
It's not action
that
to
are
say
leading
those
the
words.
resistance, right?
So,
but she's leading the resistance. She's leading the resistance against the government. If you lead the resistance against the government on January 6th, they say you're a horrible person. You should go to jail 4 years without a trial, and then they can put you in jail for 20 years like the Oath Keepers for leading the resistance, even though those people were not there on January 6th. And yet when a Democrat does it, we say it's okay. I don't get it. I really don't.
I don't think anyone said it was okay. We're talking about whether you can prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt in front of a jury in that community.
In L.A., well, I don't know why you can't bring the case somewhere else, but I guess you'd have to bring it to D.C., which would be as bad as L.A. So we can't win anymore. You
can only bring it in L.A. It's not optional to bring a case anywhere you feel like it in America.
Right. Yeah, well, America's screwed. Our country's going down the drain like Drano. And then the other one I was going to mention to you is the Obama judge today, who ruled it's just fine for protesters steps from the White House to have a protest called 8647 and hold signs that say 8647. How would a judge feel if they held signs that said, let's kill the judge? Is that acceptable speech in the United States of America? Kill the president is acceptable speech blocks from the White House? I just don't get it. Again, you're going to say it's free speech, I guess, right?
The Department of Justice has taken the position that that particular phrase in conjunction with being close to the president can be viewed as an imminent threat. So that's a different fact pattern. I disagree. We disagree with the judge's ruling in that case. And, we'll see what further proceedings occur in that case. But we've certainly sought a criminal case against James Comey for using that phrase in public, and the president wasn't nearby. So I think it's very different when you have somebody who's actually been the subject of multiple assassination attempts, several in the last few months, and then doing that on the steps of where the person lives, who's the president of the United States. I think that's a different fact pattern.
Yeah, I think they're trying to normalize that saying so that people are allowed to say, let's kill the president, and they'll get James Comey off because it's now normal. They can protest right at the White House and say it's just fine. It's just things happening that are just so incredible. Anyway, and of course, they're stealing elections, and I want to compliment you. You found at least 350,000 dead people on the voter rolls. Tell us about the DOJ's lawsuits against 29 states and Washington, D.C. to gain access to the voter rolls, and are you, in fact, able to gain access to these voter rolls, or are they blocking you every step of the way?
About a third of the states have voluntarily cooperated with our request to look at the voter rolls and help these states clean up their voter rolls as they're required to do under federal civil rights laws. And then 2/3 of the states are in resistance mode. And, some of the federal courts are frankly in resistance mode. They have disagreed with our efforts. And so we've already argued 2 appeals in the Ninth Circuit, and in the Sixth Circuit, we just noticed an appeal, if I'm not mistaken, in the First Circuit to preserve our rights there. And, we have other cases rolling in. And so we're going to challenge all of these. And ultimately, I think the Supreme Court is going to decide whether we get to help clean up the voter rolls or we have to live with dirty voter rolls. And I think that for confidence of citizens in the outcome of our elections, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, I think we can all agree that a baseline should be only people who are American citizens should be voting in our elections. And we certainly know that that's not the case. There have been multiple convictions over the last couple of years by state and federal prosecutors of people illegally voting. There are admittedly tens of thousands of non-citizens on the voter rolls in the states that are cooperating with us, and hundreds of thousands of people on the voter rolls who are dead or otherwise inappropriately on the voter rolls. Just today, a lawsuit was filed in California regarding California's voter rolls, and there admittedly being nearly 1 million people on the voter rolls who are not entitled to be on the voter rolls in California. That's a real problem. So we have to get a grip on this. Congress could do a better job and help tighten up some of these things, but we believe at the DOJ, even with existing tools, we have the right and the ability to clean up the voter rolls if states and, frankly, some judges would stop interfering with that right.
Yeah, look at Nevada, where I live, Las Vegas, Nevada. In Nevada, and again, it's all about motor voter, which is a federal law. It allows people to register to vote while they're at the DMV getting their license. And Nevada allows illegals to get a license at DMV. While they're there, they're automatically enrolled to vote. And I guess it's the Nevada legislature who passed a law that you can't even opt out. In other words, when you get your license, you're automatically registered to vote. So if illegal aliens are automatically registered to vote, which means they're now legal voters in their own mind, do you think any of them are not voting? Of course they're voting. They're now legally registered to vote. Once you get them registered, they have no problem voting on mail-in ballot. It's just a terrible situation.
I'm familiar with California's law, and in California, while the voter registration, and this is a federal law actually that facilitates motor voter, you still have to check a box saying you're entitled to register to vote, that you're a citizen. But that's not very much of a check. And so we actually, could strengthen that by requiring that there be a verification, just like when you check into a hotel, you have to show your ID. Mm-hmm. There could be a verification, but of course it benefits those who want everybody to be on the voter rolls, whether they're entitled to or not, to remove these safeguards from the system. So we definitely need to do a better job to tighten up the situation.
And what other things you do to secure the midterms? Because that's the whole ball of wax. If we win the midterms, Trump gets to finish 2 more years of his agenda and maybe, close a lot of loopholes. And maybe we start to win a lot of elections from 2028 on if we can make sure illegals are not voting. But if we lose the midterms, then pretty much everything Trump wants to do is down the drain. So what are we doing to secure the midterms?
I mean, this is not a partisan effort by the DOJ. We want to clean up the voter rolls regardless of who's in power. I think that's an important goal. And so we're going to continue to try to do that. And if we face reversals, we'll appeal them. I think ultimately the Supreme Court's going to have to decide the extent to which we can and should live with dirty voter rolls in this country. And I think the answer should be no, of course.
Yeah, look, you and I agree on that one, but I don't know if the Supreme Court does. We'll find out about birthright citizenship, and we'll find out about how far we can go to secure the voting rolls, I guess, in several upcoming Supreme Court decisions. Harmeet Dillon, we appreciate everything you're doing to clean up the voter rolls and everything you're doing to increase civil rights in this country. Thank you. At the DOJ, Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon, thank you for all you do.
Thanks for having me.
God bless. We'll be right back, folks. I try and be so nice with my guests. I try and be so nice. I kissed her ass. When I told her that the mayor of Los Angeles is preaching insurrection, oh, that's fine. It's free speech. And if they want to say 47, 86, 47, she maybe pushed back a little bit on that. A little bit we disagree with the judge's decision. But when it comes to the mayors saying they're leading insurrection against ICE, leading resistance against ICE, that is by any measure of the law, that is insurrection, that is communism, that is treason, that is a coup against the United States. And she says, no, it's not, it's free speech. And then she justifies it by saying it doesn't matter because you couldn't win with an LA judge and an LA jury. Well, that means that the United States needs to break up. We need revolution. We need a divorce, because that means in blue states, you can't uphold the law because the jury's the judge will rule against you every time. So it's okay to preach insurrection and to commit crimes and to aid and abet criminals. That's all fine, according to the Trump DOJ. I wonder if he knows that Harmeet Dillon says things like that. I'm going to make sure he knows, because these people are not really conservative patriots. They don't have a clue what it means to be MAGA. Not a clue. Unbelievable. No wonder we can't win anything. I say it again and again. They're vicious on the left, and we are cowards on the right. Everything we say, according to them on January 6th, was insurrection against the United States, against Joe Biden. Even if you went to a peaceful rally, you should spend 4 years in prison without trial. But she, the mayor of LA, leads proudly and openly insurrection against American law, federal law. And that's not a problem, according to Harmeet Dillon. You got people running our country, even under President Trump, that are just as miserable as the people who are leading the country under Obama and Biden. Because under Obama and Biden, everything is about partisan politics. It's got to be their way or the highway. You go to jail. We take everything away from you. We ruin your life. We sick the IRS on you. But under us, it's probably free speech, and we can't win the case anyway. You know, go back to your freaking country club and play badminton with Buffy. You cowards. You're dealing with such cowards. I tried to be so nice to her. See the snotty little attitude she had? She never broke a smile in the entire interview. She was pissed from the first minute that I brought up something that wasn't on the sheet that I was supposed to ask. What I brought up was on her side. Isn't she on Trump's side? Isn't she defending Trump? I bring up that they want to assassinate Trump, and even on that one, it was a lukewarm answer. That's what they all are, lukewarm people, lukewarm. They never have a view that's on our side, period. They never heard of being partisan. Listen to the way she was talking about the voter rolls. Oh, nothing's Republican or Democrat. It's all about nonpartisan. We want to help everybody. Now, maybe she has to say that one because no court would allow her to be partisan. I don't know. It seems to me the DOJ's a Biden and Obama were as partisan as you get. Eric Holder, as partisan as you get. The other one, the lady, the black lady that was the attorney general for a little while, can't even remember her name. She met on the runway with Bill Clinton to discuss the Hillary Clinton case. They don't mind being partisan at all, do they? They break the law every day. But our side, we got to be cool. We got to be lukewarm. We got to just be careful what we say and do. And yeah, when I said to her, that's not words free speech. When a mayor says, I'm leading the resistance against ICE, those are actions. That's not words. She's leading the resistance. It's not words. She says, oh, no, those are words. Do Democrats say that about us? This is why we lose. They're all a bunch of pussy cats. I'll be careful what I say on the air. You know what I meant to say, because that's what she is. A pussy cat. These people would not know how to fight a war if their life depended on it. And this is a war for the United States of America's survival. So disgusted by her attitude. And look how nice I tried to be to her. She didn't crack a smile. She wouldn't be nice of her life. She's an ice queen. Wow. These people are unbelievable. Not having her back on the show. That doesn't matter, does it? She's not coming back on the show. Oh my gosh, I just can't stand these people. I just can't stand them. Can't you ever stand and fight? Do you know how to stand and fight? Did you ever stand and fight? No, she's a woman. She's never had a fist fight in her life. I've had 100 of them. I knock people unconscious. Just fighting for my life. I had a gang of 20 guys with broken bottles in their hand, ready to cut my throat. And I fought for my life alongside a highway. There was nowhere to run because cars were going by at 70 miles an hour. And these people are playing golf or tennis with Muffy at the country club. That's all they've done their whole life. They don't know how to fight. They don't know how to come back from being down 8-0 in a badminton match. That's their claim to fame. Once they came back, it became 9-8 at the end. I'm a fighter. Oh yeah, you're a tough one. Wayne Allyn Root. War. See, my initials work. These people would know war if they saw it. Hi, this is Wayne Allyn Root. If you're sick and tired of supporting woke companies, I have great news for you. You don't have to anymore. You can shop where my family shops at GreatPatriotStore.com. My team researched thousands of companies for my best-selling book, The Great Patriot Boycott Book, and one stood out above all, GreatPatriotStore.com. This is the answer to inflation. Hundreds of household products that you're already buying. Much higher quality, no toxic chemicals, delivered right to your door at incredible prices. 20,000 American families are joining every month, and you should too. And now they've got the beef, pasture raised with no hormones, antibiotics, or mRNA ever. Exclusively available only to their members. Like Costco or Sam's Club, you need to become a member. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. Fill out the form and they'll contact you right away. And boom, you're a member. For a limited time, the annual membership is $1. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. That's GreatPatriotStore.com.